upcoming Hollywood movies 2024. Let's go! Hey, what's up? It's Gilbert.K here, and welcome to a very exciting episode. Today, we'll be discussing the upcoming Hollywood movies this year. First thing first, Deadpool and Wolverine. It's directed by Sean Levy. It's starring Josh Brolin, Morena Baccarin, and Ryan Reynolds. Deadpool is pulled from his quiet life by the Time Variance Authority and sent on a mission alongside Wolverine that would change the history of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Beetlejuice, directed by Tim Burton, starring in Jenna Ortega, Michael Keaton, and Monica Bellucci. What is it about? It's a sequel to the classic from 1988 films Beetlejuice revisits the eerie and comedic world of the afterlife for new characters, encountering the mischievous ghost Beetlejuice. Next, The Crow, directed by Rupert Sanders, starring in Bill Skarsgård, F.K. Twigs, and Danny Huston. So what is it about? It's a reboot of the cult classic The Crow, follows Eric Draven, a man who is resurrected by a mystical crow as he seeks vengeance against those who wronged him. Next is Civil War, directed by Alex Garland, starring in Nick Offerman, Kirsten Dunst, and Wagner Moura. So what is it about? It's set in an alternate reality civil war, explores a divided superhero community as they clash over ideological differences, leading to a scale battle among former allies. Transformers 1, director Josh Cooley, starring Scarlett Johansson and Chris Hemsworth, Keegan-Michael Key. It's a prequel to the Transformers series. Transformers 1 delves into the origins of the Autobots and deceptions on Cybertron, exploring their initial conflict and the events that led to their arrival on Earth. Mufasa, The Lion King, directed by Barry Jenkins and starring in Aaron Pierre, Calvin Harrison Jr., and John Caney. This prequel to Lion King explores the backstory of Mufasa, showcasing his journey from a young cub to the revered king of the Pride Lands. Next is Joker Folie à Deux, director Todd Phillips, starring in Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga. The sequel to the critically acclaimed Joker delves deeper into the psyche of Arthur Fleck and introduces a new character who forms a complex relationship with the titular. Next is Gladiator 2, director Ridley Scott, and stars in Pedro Pascal, Denzel Washington, and Paul Mescal. It's a long-awaited sequel to the epic historical drama Gladiator, is rumored to follow the story of Lucius, the son of Lucia and nephew of Commodus, as he navigates the political and martial challenges of ancient Rome. Twisters, directed by Lee Isaac Chung, starring in Katie O'Brien, Glenn Powell, Daisy Edward Jones. It's a sequel to the 1996 film Twister. This movie revisits the thrilling world of Storm, chasing with a new team facing even more dangerous and unprecedented tornadoes. Bad Boys 4, directed by Adel Al-Arbi, Bilal Fallah, starring in Will Smith, Vanessa Hudgens, and Alexander Ludwig. It's the first installment in the Bad Boys franchise, sees the return of detectives Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett as they tackle new challenges and face off against a formidable foe. Beverly Hills Cop XLF, directed by Mark Molloy, stars in Kevin Bacon, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Eddie Murphy. In this new installment of the Beverly Hills Cop series, Axel Foley returns to Beverly Hills to solve a new crime that hits close to home. Next, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, directed by Wes Ball, stars in Freya Allen, William H. Macy, Dickon Lackman. It's set after the events of War for the Planet of the Apes. This film continues the saga of the intelligent apes as they face new challenges in their evolving world. Next, Venom: The Last Dance, directed by Kelly Marcel, and the stars in Tom Hardy, Juno Temple, and Chiwetel Ejiofor. The third installment in the Venom series promises more action and deeper exploration of the symbiotic relationship between Eddie Brock and Venom. The Lord of the Rings: The War of the Rohirrim, directed by Kenji Kamiyama, stars in Brian Cox, Miranda Otto, Sean Dooley. This animated film delves into the history of Rohan, exploring the life of Helm and events leading up to it, the legendary Battle of Helm's Deep. Next is Back to Back, directed by Sam Taylor Johnson, starring in Marissa Bella, Eddie Marsan, and Jack O'Connell. It's a biographical film about the life and career of the iconic singer Amy Winehouse, focusing on her music, personal struggles, and legacy. Next is Challengers, directed by Luca Guadagnino, and stars in Zendaya and Josh O'Connor. It's a romantic drama centered around the world of competitive tennis, where passion, rivalry, and personal growth collide on and off the court. Next is If, director John Krasinski, starring in Ryan Reynolds, John Krasinski, and Kaylee Fleming. It's a whimsical tale that explores the power of imagination and the magic of childhood as a group of friends embark on an unforgettable adventure. Next is Craven the Hunter, director J.C. Chandor, starring in Aaron Taylor Johnson, Christopher Abbott, and Russell Crowe. It focuses on the iconic Spider-Man villain. This film delves into the backstory of the Craven the Hunter, a formidable adversary with a personal vendetta against the web-slinging hero. A Quiet Place Day One, directed by Michael Sarnowski and starring in Joseph Quinn, Alex Wolff, and Jimon Hunsu. It's a prequel to A Quiet Place. This film explores the initial days of the alien invasion and the terrifying emergence of the sound-sensitive creatures. Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, directed by George Miller, starring in Anya Taylor-Joy, Chris Hemsworth, and Charlie Fraser. This film focuses on the origin story of the fierce warrior Furiosa, tracing her journey from a young captive to a formidable rebel leader. Red One, directed by Jake Kasdan, starring in Christopher Ivju, Dwayne Johnson, and Chris Evans. It's a holiday-themed adventure film that promises to deliver a unique blend of comedy and spectacle, with Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans teaming up for an unforgettable Christmas journey. The Garfield Movie, directed by Mark Dindal, starring in Chris Pratt, Samuel L. Jackson, and Hannah Waddingham. It's a new animated adaptation of the beloved comic strip, with Chris Pratt lending his voice to the lasagna-loving sarcastic orange cat, Garfield. Despicable Me 4, directed by Chris Renaud, Patrick Delache, and starring in Steve Carell, Kirsten Wiig, and Joey King. It's the fourth installment in Despicable Me franchise, following the continued adventures of Gru, his family, and his lovable minions as they face challenges and villains. The First Omen, directed by Arkasha Stevenson, and starring in Nal Tiger Free, Rolf Arson, and Sonia Braga. It's a prequel to the classic horror film The Omen, exploring the origins of the cursed child Damien and the events leading up to it to the first film. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, directed by Jeff Fowler, starring in Ben Schwartz, Colleen O'Shaughnessy, and Idris Elba. It's the third film in the Sonic Hedgehog series, continuing the adventure of Sonic and his friends as they face new challenges and enemies. Inside Out 2, directed by Kelsey Mann and starring in Amy Poehler, Phyllis Smith, and Louis Black. And it's a sequel to the critically acclaimed Inside Out, delving deeper into the emotional journey of Riley as she navigates the complexities of adolescence. Next is Abigail, directed by Matt Bettinelli, Alpin Talet Gillette, starring in Giancarlo Esposito, Dan Stevens, and Matthew Goody. It's about a mysterious and powerful girl with supernatural abilities that discovers her true origins and embarks on a journey to fulfill her destiny. Godzilla Kong, The New Empire, directed by Adam Wingard, starring in Rebecca Hall, Brian Tyree Henry, Dan Stevens. It's about the colossal titans Godzilla and King Kong clash once again as humanity faces new threats in a world where monsters reign supreme. Borderlands, directed by Eli Roth and starring in Jack Black, Cate Blanchett, and Ariana Greenblatt. It's based on a popular video game series. A group of unlikely heroes bands together to find treasure and fight off dangerous creatures on the alien planet of Pandora. Next is Wicked, directed by John Chu and starring in Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, and Jonathan Bailey. The beloved musical comes to the big screen, telling the untold story of the witches of Oz, Glinda and Elphaba, and their complex relationship before the arrival of Dorothy. Saw 6, directed by Kevin Greutert, is the latest installment in the Saw franchise, continues the legacy of Jigsaw with new traps, twists and turns that push the boundaries of horror. Next is Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scaregiver, directed by Zack Snyder and starring in Sofia Boutella, Charlie Hunnam, and Gina Malone. It's the second part of Zack Snyder's epic space saga where a rebellious colony fights against a tyrannical regime to protect their freedom and a way of life. Next is Alien Romulus, directed by Fede Alvarez, starring in Isabella Merced, Kaylee Spaney, and Archie Renault. In this addition to the Alien franchise, a group of explorers encounter a new and terrifying threat on the distant moon of Romulus, the Ministry of Angentlemanly Warfare, and it's directed by Guy Ritchie, starring in Henry Cavill, Anna Richardson, and Alex Pettyfer. And it's set during the World War II. This film follows a secret British commando unit as they undertake unconventional and daring missions against the Nazis. Next is Nosferatu, directed by Robert Eggers, and starring in Aaron Taylor Johnson, Bill Skarsgård, and William Dafoe. And it's a modern, what is it about? It's a modern retelling of the classic silent horror film following the eerie and haunting tale of Count Orlok, a vampire who spreads terror in a small German town. Next is Kinds of Kindness, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, and starring in Emma Stone, Margaret Qualley, and Jesse Plemons. It's a heartwarming story about the different ways people show kindness to one another and how these acts can have a profound impact on the world. There you have it, folks. The upcoming Hollywood movies of 2024. Let me know what you're gonna watch and let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, Gilbert.K out.